Hey guys, what I'd like to do in this video is show you this tough Sony SD memory card, this SDXC UHS-2 card. Now Sony references this as SF-M, but there is another SF-M card which is not tough. It's got the same V60 rating and it's got the same read and write speeds, but it doesn't have any of the toughness, so it's a lot cheaper. There's another version of this as well, a more expensive version, which is SFG, has a V90 rating and it's got faster read and write times, but that version is a lot more expensive, and I would say that for most people this gives you your best bang for your buck. So you can see that the read speeds here are up to 277 megabytes per second and the write speeds are up to 150 megabytes per second. Now it's got a rating of V60. V stands for video, 60 refers to the fact that you're guaranteed to get a minimum write speed of 60 megabytes per second. So that's all good. Now I've actually got two of these and I unboxed this the other day, and yeah, fairly boring affair. You get a card case, you get the card and you get a warranty card, etc. And I've actually got this in my Fujifilm X-T4 already. I've used it a few times. Now I can't show you taking photos or taking videos right now because I had to send my lens back, but I do have it in there. I do have it in here. Now, one of the things, if you get in focus, one of the things I will say is that there's a lot of comments online saying that these tough series of cards don't fit into the SD card memory card slot correctly, and they're saying these cards are a little bit thicker, so sometimes they stick, but they are a little bit tighter. But I've not had any problems with these cards going in and out. So yeah, personally I've not experienced any problem. Certainly in this camera I've not had any problem with it. So I'll show you the card in a second and I'll show you again some other cards that I've got, but before I do so I just want to jump over to my browser and show you what this series is all about. Basically explain what the toughness is all about. So this is a website and you can see that Sony really marketing this. You can see it here, ultra strong and durable for filming in wet and dusty environments, and they really are marketing this as a tough, durable card. World's toughest, 18 times more bending resistance, IP68 waterproof and dustproof, shock resistant up to 5 meters. It's got a one-piece design and it's ribless, and it's got no write, protect or switch design. So yes, it is tough, and there's a lot of videos and reviews out there that do test that, and they show you this card being used in a lot of different conditions. Now I will say that there is a replacement program for this, because last month Sony announced that they had a problem with certain cards, and it affects the non-tough version I was referring to and the newer SFG version, and it affects all of these cards. But if your card has an asterisk, it's not affected, and mine seems to be okay. But Sony are recalling them, and they'll give you a replacement up to, well, 2022 there, as you can see. Now, one of the reasons I've opted for this card is because it's a V60 card, which is what I need to record at 400 megabits per second on my X-T4. Now, Fuji does recommend V90 as well, because, you know, it gives you fast burst shooting when you're taking photographs, etc. But you do only need a V60 card, and I've opted for this card rather than the more expensive version because, well, more storage. If you look at it here, this is the version that I've got. It's $113 in the USA, and in the UK it's currently £139. But if you jump up to that SFG version, well, look at that. This one only has 128 gigabytes of storage rather than 256, and you know, you have to pay a lot more money, but you are getting the faster read and write speeds. Now the difference in price isn't as much in America. You can see, you know, it's $188 instead of 113, but here in the UK, 139 against 217.89, and I've opted for storage. And I do think that most people who are looking to buy a card like this, if you're looking to buy this for video, you probably lean towards the higher storage rather than you know, going for the faster read and write speeds. Now interestingly, this is only a V30 card, and this did seem to be recording video okay on my in my Fuji camera as well. But there's a few reasons I went for this card. I went for the higher storage because I wanted 512 gigabytes of storage, because when you're recording at 400 megabits, which is 50 megabytes per second, you have to divide by 8. But when you're recording at that fast rate, you do want as much storage as possible, because 128 would only give you 40 minutes. So I went for storage. But why did I go for the tough design? Well, if I can show you the back of the card, you can see what they were saying on the website. If you remember, if I find this in the website again, if you remember what they said in the website, it's got a ribless, no write protect switch design. Now, you can see that there. There's nothing there to get in the way. There's nothing there to break. It's one solid piece of plastic. You see that? Now, that is in contrast to other cards that I've got. Now, if you look at these ones, these cards have got the write switch, which I've always hated because there's so many times I've put these cards into a camera and that switch goes down and then it says write protect on, you need to take the SD card out and put it back on. I've never used the write card switch, so that was something that I really liked about the Tough card. But it also has what they're saying, rib-free, a rib-free design, and it means that it doesn't have these plastic contacts here, which can snap off. So what they've done, and you know, if I turn this around and show you the Tough card here, hopefully it gets in focus, you can see that they've removed the write switch, but they've also removed the plastic area between the contacts. And that's just one of the ways that they've made this a tougher card. So yes, they say it's a little bit thicker. It doesn't seem to be honest, but this is one piece design. Some of these other cards, they're two pieces of plastic joined together, and sometimes these SD cards can split in the middle. You can kind of see it there. They can split in the middle and they can break open in the middle. This has got a one-piece design. So it's not for everyone. These aren't the cheapest cards on the market, but I really like the idea of having a Tough card, and well, these are fast as well. Now, I've did a number of performance tests on these already. With H2 Test W, I tested the whole card and it showed me that all the sectors were fine. It wasn't a fake, and I was getting writing speeds of 149 megabytes per second, and I was getting reading speeds of 206 megabytes per second. So 149 for writing, 206 for reading. With Crystal Disk Mark, well, there's a few different results there, but the sequential 1M was giving me 262.74 for reading and 158.75 for writing. So that's faster write speeds than what they say on the box. With AGA Systems, for a 1080p write 1 gigabyte file, it was saying 151 for writing, 250 for reading. That dropped when I selected the 4K option, and it dropped to 140 and 246, but that really isn't a massive drop in performance here for writing the 4K file. The last performance test that I did was with Atto Disk Benchmark, and this is a new application that I've tried, and it tests lots of different file sizes and it shows you the write and read speeds, and you can see that across the board you're getting an average about 150 megabytes per second and an average of around 250 megabytes per second for reading. So 150 megabytes per second or so for writing and 100 more for reading. So yeah, across the board I would say that this is living up to its expectations. Now obviously I've not been out yet and put this through its, you know, in any kind of endurance test. You know, this is weather sealed, but I've not been out yet and put this out in rain or dust or anything like that. But just looking at the design, it does look like it is tougher because it's the one piece of plastic, and you've not got the write switch and there's no plastic there. You know, you've just got the contacts. So it does look like it's living up to its, get in focus, what is going on there? It does look like it's living up to its tough reputation as far as the build quality. But more importantly, perhaps for all of us, is that performance speeds do seem to be good. Across the board for all of those performance tests, I do seem to be getting around 150 megabytes per second for writing and around 260, 250 megabytes per second for reading. It does depend on the application, and it will depend on your camera as well. Your camera probably won't use all of that, but it does future-proof yourself a little bit by having those additional speeds. So is this a good card? I think so. There's cheaper cards out there. You know, V30 cards will be a lot cheaper, so you are paying more per gigabyte for this card, but it is cheaper than a V90 card. This is a V30 card. This is V60, but the V90 cards are a lot more expensive, and there's very few options for 256. So I saved myself some money. I've got a lot of storage, and the performance seems really good. So across the board, I'm happy with this, and this is a card that I can recommend. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll speak to you all in the next one. Take care.